We're back to play another game of Majestic 13. This is our 7th mission, including the special mission. What did we have last time? So as we know, Doc had lost his arm. He was out of action. He rolled chromosomal damage, turned into a shadow monster, thus was cloned, and thus got his arm back quite nicely. So Doc has his arm back again, which is good, which means we didn't need to do the figure. We had just clonings. We increased Speedy's combat, Cap's initiative, acuity, and tank security. So they're all going different times. We rolled a wilds mission, which we can see here. I've decided to do. So I see lots of people using mobile phones and doing stuff like that, and so I have grabbed my mobile phone out, and so maybe we can get some close-ups of the team. So the team isn't in position yet. The team isn't in position yet because of the bureaucracy we rolled, but we do have our web crawler, which is in position. We rolled a wilds mission, as you can see. I basically got out all of the mountains and the hills that I have, including a couple of the 3D printed ones, but most of these, the old ones that I've made out of XPS. Just grabbed them all out and I've laid them all out on the table. I'm imagining this is I don't know if you know it, the Brecon Beacons, which is Snowdonian mountains, we're Snowdon. So why would they be here? Why would the broken socks be dropped here? Section 6, why would they be dropped? Because one of the orbs got shut down by the RAF in the Brecon Beacons. There it is. And there is our web crawler. Our secondary objective is alien technology. There is our one piece of alien technology. There is our second, which is the orb itself, the craft, because this is the crash retrieval projects, which is all the stuff going on in Congress at the moment. So the far half of the table is the alien setup table. This half of the table would traditionally be our half of the table, but the bureaucracy that I rolled, drop zone confusion. Randomly determine one quarter of the board. All players' models must be set up in the determined quarter instead of using normal setup rolls. So we aren't going to get to be on our half, putting ourselves wherever we want. We want to drop, and to be honest, if I'm being honest, I would much rather drop actually in that sector where the web thingy is. Well, actually, I'll tell you what its real name. It is a warping crawler, not a web crawler. It isn't Spidey. It's a warping crawler. It's a monstrosity. I've like I said last time, I've got a good feeling about this. Its hit points aren't out of sight, and its combat is quite low of 21. Its defense is only 20. I've got a good feeling about this, although it can teleport all over the place. Right, let's go. We shall, I'll tell you what the initiative orders are. So the initiative orders will be, the crawler will come out on initiative 25. Then we have Cap on initiative 20, Speedy on initiative 19, Doc and Tank and the crawler will all go on 15. So as I get to choose, I check the rulebook. It will either be Doc or Tank depending on how they're flowing, and then the crawler will go, and last of all is Snipes, because Snipes had a very bad cloning session at one point. Okay, we will have, so we are going to have the quadrant with the orb, which should actually be a clear orb with a cube-like structure inside it, based on what a lot of the pilots are reporting. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Okay, so I will set up the team in this sector here. Though it will get to go first, I think we will have Snipes is going to airdrop here. There's no cover up there. Or maybe, if that's the quadrant, maybe... Oh no, that's cool. That's cool. This thing just teleports places and hacks the pajamas out of people. Tank is going to set up there and attempt to shoot at the hell out of it if he can do. Cap will set up there in that quadrant. Speedy, we'll set up there, and Doc is going to be over here and he's going to set up here. So we've airdropped in, we've landed on the top of those bits there. Round one. Starts activation, no it doesn't. It is not within 1 inch of anyone. It is within movement distance and there is nothing, so it will move to the enemy with the lowest hit points within its range. So it can teleport anywhere as long as it can see there. And if it teleports within 1 inch of an enemy and then makes an attack against the enemy, it's a surprise attack. So basically it's going to be doing surprise. It's going to bounce around, you know, attacking people. So person with the lowest hit points, Snipes. Snipes now has the lowest hit points with the hit points of 25. Snipes, of course, is over on the far side here. So it will teleport to here and attempt to attack Snipes with stabbing limbs. The warp crawler makes 2 attacks with its stabbing limbs. If an attack hits, the target must succeed on a dex check or be restrained. If possible, the warp crawler must make these 2 attacks against 2 separate enemy targets within range. It can do that. So it is going to reappear here because it could see there, which is within 1 inch of Doc and Snipes, both of which have the lowest hit points. Let's shift all these out of the way over here. It is going to attack. It has a melee attack. It's using its, I know it's a crab, but it's meant to be a sort of a spidery type thing. It will use the stabbing limbs, which is a melee attack with its combat of 21. It will attack against Snipes, who has an advanced armor and has a defense of 31. Oh, that hits. Oh, 1 off of being a crit. So it appears out and it's got surprise. It's doing 2d6 plus 1 damage. Doing 9 points of damage against Snipes. Putting Snipes on 16. And I'll see if Snipes gets restrained after this. And against Doc, what that hits Doc, doing 8 points against Doc, leaving Doc on 20. We've got red and green. They need to make a 19 dex check. So red is Snipes, green is Doc. So Snipes has made it. Oh, 19? Yeah, Snipes has made it. Only Jesse's got a 6 dex. And Doc has a 12 plus 5 as a 17. So Doc is restrained. And I'm going to reach over you. I do apologise. That's where I keep my counters. I will use blue to signify restrained. Yellow will signify stunned. So Doc is restrained. Okay. That was the crawler's go. We now have Cap. That's a shame. Maybe Cap can get a shot in, but the people are in the way. Ah, well. Rocket launcher, innit? So Cap will make his move. Cap definitely has, Cap has a dex of 10. So Cap is going to run across to here, thus touching the, whoa, the very fragile orb. It's a Christmas decoration. And we'll launch a rocket launcher over there. I'm going to say it is in cover because the people are creating the cover for it. Though we have a targeting assist, we need to get what's it called? It's a sighting HUD, because that will obliterate the need for cover. So Cap has a 16 because he has an 18 plus 2. That's a 16. Taking the lowest, 3, which is a 19 which is a shame because it's only got a defense of 20, so he just misses. And then Speedy is going to attempt to do the same thing. Now, if we just can stay up here, we might be able to get shots on it. Speedy will run up. Speedy also is going to attack it. Speedy has a 13 to hit. Lowest being the 5, which again is 18. So that's an 18 this time. So Speedy misses. All right, that's not great. We now have Doc and Tank. So Doc will go first. Doc needs to get rid of Restrained, which if I remember rightly... Okay. So Restrained is a dex check at 20 because it's still phase 1. Doc's has a deck of 12 plus 9, 21. So Doc is not restrained. Doc will move to here and open fire on the crawler. Doc has a combat of 10. 19. So Doc hits. Doc is carrying an assault rifle, SA-80, so 2d6 plus 1. So Doc does 7 points of damage on it, taking it to 123. Now we have Tank. Tank will just turn, maybe step next to Doc and open fire on it using the repeater. Heavy repeater. Tank has a combat of 13. Plus 17, 30, definitely hits. Doing 3d6 plus 2. Sorry, Celine, over there. See my baldy head. Wow, so doing 10, 13, doing 15 points of damage on it, thus taking it to 108. Next we have the crawler goes. So it is within 1 inch of someone. It is in 1 inch of an enemy that it did attack. So it will move its full movement towards an enemy with the lowest hit points within its range. So it will move to here. It will just switch over and attack Tank and Doc because Doc has the lowest hit points out of the ones it can reach. So it has a combat of 21. So we'll go green is Tank, red is Doc. Green is Tank, 21, so that just makes a 30, and Doc also hits, so both of them are hit. So Tank takes 6 points damage, putting Tank on 25, and Doc takes 10 points damage, putting Doc on 10 hit points. Then we'll have, they need to make their 19 dex checks. Red is Tank, sorry, green is Tank, red is Doc. So green is Tank, so Tank has made it. Doc hasn't made it, has he? No, 15, so Doc is again restrained. And then we have Snipes, who is behind, so Snipes won't move. Snipes will just open fire on it, even though he could move, but in not moving, Snipes' damage goes up to 2d6 plus 5. Snipes has a 17 combat, which makes it 28, which means it hits, doing 2d6 plus 5. Doing 13 points of damage on it, putting it on 95. Nobody crit it, so it didn't have an extra turn, which means, well, that's it, isn't it? That's the end of round 1. We're now in round 2. Okay, beginning of round 2, we have the crawler, the whooping crawler, Are we just going to be over? Well, not necessarily. So, Doc is restrained. Now, because Doc is restrained, begins its activation within 1 inch of an enemy that is restrained. It will use this action. It teleports to the nearest cover that is not occupied by an enemy, which is probably up here. So it will teleport from there to here. And it is going to take Doc with it. So, it teleports to the nearest cover that's not occupied, remove the restrained enemy from the board and set it up within 1 inch of the web crawler's new location. That enemy must succeed on a fault check 21 or suffer 4d6 damage and be stunned. Wow, that's gonna, if Doc can't make the fault check, Doc is dead. So 13 plus, no. So Doc fails, 4d6 damage. You never know. He's got 10 points left. That was a 5. So we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Doc is on 1 hit point and is stunned and restrained. Okay. All right. Well, there's no range problems. So both Speedy and Cap over there. So Speedy and Cap over here will they can actually see it. I mean, I'll give it cover, but they can see it. So Speedy and Doc and Cap rather. So Cap goes first. It's in cover. Cap has his 16. 16 plus 4. 16 plus 4 is 20 and its defense is 20. So Cap releases off, I keep saying rocket, it's not rocket, it's explosives. It's a grenade launcher, it's like an M203 or M79. Fires the grenade, it hits the top of its carapace, doing, Doc shouts, "Oi, what were you doing?" What's it doing? It's doing 4d6 plus 2. Plus 1 because of Cap's combat ability and plus 1 because of our advanced weapon facility. Doing 8, doing 10, doing 14, doing 16 points. 16 points takes it to 79 hit points. Cool. Now we have Speedy. Speedy will be firing. Speedy's got a 13. Also, so Speedy will crouch down and attempt to fire. I wonder if Doc, if he ever survives, can actually get down there. Our lowest is a 5. 13 and 5 is 18, so Speedy misses. We now have Doc and Tank. So I think Doc will go first. Doc needs to only get rid of 1, and I think that 1 will be the restrained, which is a dex check at 20, which is a 10 plus his dex of 12 is a 22. It means that he is no longer restrained, but he is stunned, which means his movement and combat ability is halved. He is going to move his movement, which is 10, so he will move to the edge here. And then he's going to attempt to heal himself using the med kit, which is a d6 plus 4. Please give us a 6. A 2. So he heals 6 hit points. Not great, so that gives him a 7 total. That was probably a bad use, wasn't it? That was a waste. I should have done damage on it. I always do things like I should have done damage on it. Too late now. If you weren't here, I would undo that. But you're here. So Tank will move to, he doesn't need to, we'll move to the edge and we'll attempt to open up. It will have cover because it's gone into cover. Tank has an attack of 13, a combat of 13. Come on. Damn, that's a 16. So that misses. Now, it will get to go. We have, what do we have? We have, it starts acceleration within movement distance, so it's going to go for dock again. It's going to move to here and go to attack dock because it goes to the closest person. Dock's basically just acting as cannon fodder, trying to distract it. It will do 2 attacks against dock. A 15, so it teleported there, so it's their surprise. It's a 15 and a 17, so both hit. So it does 2d6 plus 1, which is 6. He's on 1 hit point, and the second one will kill him because it can't not. Okay, so Doc goes down, which means now everyone else is open to attack. And now we have Snipes, who is still doesn't move, turns to focus fire upon the crawler and fires 1 shot and gets a nat 1, which is a shame because we could do with not that getting a nat 1. And that is the end of turn 2. So we're on turn 3. All right, so the crawler. The crawler is going to teleport to the person who has the lowest hit points. Who has the lowest hit points? Snipes has the lowest hit points on 16. So it will disappear. Whoop, boop. It can't get across to Tank as well, so it will just have to go for there, and it will attempt to attack Snipes, and it will use 2 attacks on Snipes. Snipes has a defense of 31, so that's a 21, so that's a 31 and a 28, so 1 hits, doing 2d6, doing 7 plus 1, doing 8 points, leaving Snipes on 8, and Snipes needs to make a 19 dex check. 7, which fails, which means Snipes is restrained. Now the problem here is that Snipes will now be taken away and devoured because Snipes doesn't go before it goes again. Cap, because Snipes is within 1 inch of it, I'm going to say it still has cover. Cap will have his 16 plus 11 makes 27, which is a hit, doing 4d6 plus 2. So launches, so pops out another one, sticks another shot in, flips it up and launches across. We could move across, but this thing is just jumping. I think a few of these battles can be quite stationary things. I mean, I really didn't think it through creating this, but anyway, come on. We have 6 and 6 is 12, which is 15, which is 16, which is 17, which is 18, taking it to 61 hit points. We still might kill it. And then Speedy will... we need jetpacks. Speedy will attempt to shoot it as well because Snipes is next to it. Speedy, it has cover against Speedy. Speedy rolls a 12 plus the 13 is 25. It's got a defense of 20, so Speedy actually hits, doing 2d6 plus 1. Doing 8, doing 9 points of damage to it. Which will put it on 52. So that was Speedy. Now we have Doc. Doc's not around anymore. So we have Tank. So Tank is standing right next to it. I'm going to say that because it's big and Snipes is on the other side of it, Snipes does create a problem for Cap and Speedy, who are far away from it. But Tank is just going to open up on it and not need to roll for cover. Tank has a 13 combat, rolling an 11, making a 24, which hits it. Oh, hold on. Tank doesn't have a 13. Tank technically has an 11, but 11, 11 is 22, so it still hits it. And he does a 3d6 plus 2. Ooh, not great, which is 10. 10, putting it on 42 hit points. Okay, we've crossed over. I've worked it out. I was trying to be too tactical and narrative, and it really is just like lay the damage in as quickly as possible. Which is why Doc shouldn't have healed himself, being in so low hit points. He should have called in the airstrike or done something like that. So that's tank has gone. Now the crawler gets to go. The crawler again is going to go off to its nice little feeding ground. And drag across. It will now do, so now Snipes needs to make a fort stat check versus 21, which he's got a fort of 10, so he needs to roll 11 or more. No. So he takes 4d6 damage. Snipes has 8 hit points left. Snipes goes down. So that was Snipes was the last. Whoops. Snipes was the last one in the round. So Snipes is out. Docky's out. That's the end of round 3. All right, round 4. It might be time. Let's see who's. So Cap can hit it from there, and he does lots of damage. Tank can hit it from there, and he does lots of damage. Speedy can hit it from there, but doesn't do a lot of damage. So Speedy's probably best off calling in the drones and seeing if the drones can help pepper this thing down. It's in extremis is at 35 hit points. It's 7 hit points away from that. So Cap is going to attempt to do a shot across from where Cap is. Yes. So Cap has a 16. I'm going to say because of the distance and where it is, it's in cover. So 16 and 16 is 32. Definitely hitting. Doing 4d6 plus 2. So we've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we've got 14. So it's down to 28, which means it is in extremis now. So that was Cap. Now we have, so we don't have the extra the extra experience points for dealing with it within round 3, which we did last time. But we might actually get it done. So Speedy is going to, I keep forgetting to do Fubar. I didn't do Fubar again. I'm always forgetting Fubar. Oh. I blame the ADHD, I do. I blame that and my English education. So I'm going to call for aid at this point. So Speedy's going to call for aid because Speedy can't put the damage output that Tank and Cap can. So we are in turn 4. We're in turn 4. And do we get any pluses for anything? I think we get a -1 because we're in the wilderness. So we only get a +3. So a 3 onto this, and we need to get 6 or more. Come on, 5, yes. So the drone gets called. There's a loud buzzing noise as a swarm of AI-controlled drones comes zipping over, laying waste, hopefully, to this thing. If it does, that'd be great. So we get a +21 attack. So if I roll a 1, we miss. No, thank goodness for that. Doing 5d6. Right, 5d6. We've got 5, 10, 13. +4 is 17. And it had 28, so it has 11 hit points remaining. So Speedy gets out the radio, calls in the strike. The drones come over. The carapace of this thing is all just mush up. There's bits of slime dripping out from it, pooling on the ground around it within the beautiful Brecon beacons. And that was Speedy. So now we're on Tank. So Tank from over the side will drop to the knee, take aim, and attempt to shoot across from there. Tank has a 13 combat. Well, it's not Tank misses with that 3 because it's not a 13, it's an 11, so that's a 14. Okay, so Tank shoots across, the rounds just come all the way over, pinging off of its carapace, doing no additional damage to it. We are now on the Crawler. Number 1. It is activating in extremis, thus it suffers 2d6 damage. Potentially it could die. 7 points, leaving it on 4 hit points. Okay, it now will take 2 activations, so it does not have anyone near it. It will now teleport to the closest one, which is Tank, and it will attempt to attack Tank with 2 attacks. Combat of 21. Has got a miss and a hit, but luckily not a surprise hit, doing 2d6 plus 1 against Tank. So doing 8 points to Tank. Tank has already been hit once, so putting Tank on 17 hit points. And now Tank needs to make a dex check or be restrained, and that means he'll be dragged away. So Tank has a dex of 13, which is a 24, which makes the 19, so Tank is not restrained. And on its second attack, if the target starts its activation within 1 inch it attacked during its last activation, yes, it will move up to its full move distance towards the enemy, so it's going to teleport over here. It will teleport next to these two, which is foolish because, I mean, it can't actually get in to Cap because he's on the edge, so it's just Speedy gets annihilated. So, see how we are? So it can't actually squeeze in next to Cap because Cap's right on the edge to be able to get a shot in. Though Cap will be taking all sorts of radiation problems because of the orb emitting radiation next to him. I think several things have happened. Because I've just noticed we've been only going 39 minutes and there's stuff I'm going to cut out of this. I think we've hit the tipping point where the team has had enough time to progress and get their stats slightly higher than starting, which means, you know, hats off to you, Adam and Vince. Hats off, gentlemen, because to start off with, I was like, I mean, you get a bit disheartened because you're just getting your ass kicked. But I'm now kicking ass more because I could have grabbed really good weapons to start off with, but I didn't know. But the stats have tipped over that we now can put the damage output, and I'm now learning what to do. I mean, if I was a more tactical sort of skirmish player, I should have worked that out already. But still. 2 attacks against Speedy. I think the 8 might miss, and the 18 is one off of a crit. So the 8 would come to a 29, so that misses. See, there's also now, I've got everything in my head, stats-wise, I don't have to look things up so much. And we have an 18, which is, so it's a hit, but it's a normal hit. So 2d6, so that's doing 10, 11 points against Speedy, taking Speedy to 16 hit points, and Speedy needs to make a 19 dex check, making the dex check so Speedy is not restrained. So that was 1 attack, 2 attacks, that's the Crawler. Now we have Cap. Cap is going to maneuver here, tuck himself in against the strangely light, I should have filled it up with something concrete, to be not touching it. I mean, he can't be 1 inch, can he? Because then it's melee. So he's going to tuck himself to there. He could get on top of the rock. Sorry. He's got 10 movement. That will definitely get, he can definitely get on top of the rock within 10 movement. Even if we double it, so what, 2 inches up there, that's 4. Yes, he can do that. I won't even bother. I haven't even got the tape measure out today. And then he's just going to shoot down. So no in cover. If he crits, that'll be interesting. I mean, he's definitely killed it. As long as he doesn't roll a 1, he has killed it. Because it's got 4 hit points left. And this does a minimum of 6 hit points. So, no, just off of a crit. Shoots down into it. It pierces through the weakened hull. Goes inside. And in the comic way of Ghostbusters-esque, being covered in slime, Speedy stands there, covered in warping crawler innards, and says, "Oh, boss, what are you doing?" And we end. That's it. That's pretty cool. So we have 2 deaths again, which is Cap and Snipes again. No, sorry, Doc and Snipes again. The crawler goes down. By the end of turn 4, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I don't think I've missed anything. If I have missed anything, please tell me, because I didn't do foobar. I always feel I'm going to have to put a note somewhere against something saying do foobar, because I keep forgetting to do foobar. But beyond that, job done. Awesome.